Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about the insane moats that Palantir has that nobody is talking about. So this is going to be a very important, a bit long, but very important video if you're a Palantir stockholder or you're thinking about buying Palantir. And you might want to share this video with people who are thinking about investing into Palantir because it's just that good at explaining the risks and the advantages with Palantir. So as always, if you like this content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want to go further and support the channel, check out the first link in the description box below where you can join my Patreon, where you can get access to all the tables, all the valuations. You can get access to me and to my eternal gratitude for $5 a month. Let's get into the video. The first video that I want to share with you is the best explanation of Palantir that I've found online so far. By the way, this video is part of a huge podcast that Tom Nash did. I'm going to link it below because it's that good, but I just want to show you a few key points from this. The best explanation of Palantir that you have ever heard.
Foundry was way ahead of that game. Like they knew 10 years ago that that's what they needed. And so they built a suite of low-code tools, including like Quiver and Contour, Workshop being one of the most impressive, where they built Skywise using Workshop, right? So like they built an entire multi-million-dollar software application using their own tools. That's how powerful they are, right? So like, and they knew that the data warehouse would be the application platform of the future, right? And so they have those low to no code tools to let you build full-fledged apps where you don't need a software engineer anymore. You just need to understand your data, and you need to be able to have the same type of skills, I would say, like a traditional BI user would have, maybe like a Tableau user or some other user or some other person using their low code system, right? So it's not no code, but it is definitely low code. Although you don't need to, they do have a lot of built-in functionality, you know? So yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the three layers and how they're differentiated. But to like, if you're saying what could the competitors build in 6 to 12 months, I think the better question is, it would take them 10 years, you know? Like you want to get caught up to Foundry, you're looking at a 10-year time horizon for sure. Like in terms of all of the apps that are available and all of the modules, the thinking of knowing that the data warehouse would be the future AWS, that was the thing that kind of set them apart. And that's what they spent so long building, you know?
Got it. So it's sort of a layman's term of summarizing that, it's essentially a place where all the data you could possibly need for anything is stored, and you can use the different layers to build out whatever tools you need to execute on the business. Is that a fair way of summarizing?
Yeah. Imagine you had it's like a big data OS, right? It's the OS of the future for you to build all the software your organization needs. Where in the past we had Microsoft Office, you know, and we had Google, right? So like Foundry even has like a Google Docs thing in it, which is crazy, right? Why would they do that? Well, because now that your data is being built on Foundry apps, all the data is now accessible too. They even have a chat application, right? So like that 80% of data that of an organization that's untapped because it's largely unstructured, Foundry has an app for that, meaning all of your data is now accessible, right? So I think that's the other thing that differentiates it, is like it's truly like an operating system, you know?
Yeah.
So basically what we learned from this is that if you want to build a product like Foundry, it would take you 10 years. We're going to go into the risks also that obviously comes with this, but that's going to be in a later part of the video. And the best explanation of Foundry is that it puts all your data in one place of an organization, and you can build very low coding apps on it. For example, to give you examples from my understanding is you have multiple offers in your company, and then, you know, this Foundry gives you, you can build an app that tracks analytics of, okay, now this offer is converting these type of customers. And then it gives you a report that, okay, why don't you change the marketing strategy that this offer goes to, you know, the middle-aged people because it's converting them really good. Whereas this offer is converting, you know, this age group really good. Obviously, you can get very complicated in this, but just to give you an idea, it's a data operating system, and it would take 10 years to come up with anything like this. So now we go to the next one, which is a video of Alex Karp, where he explains why companies use Palantir and not develop this themselves.
The most important thing in a software business is, what are the quality of your products? And have you built a product no one else can build? Can you get that product delivered into the market where the product transforms people's tastes? So the most gratifying thing about going to these war zones is they know our products, and we built the product. We've changed their taste. By the way, we've done this with our commercial product. I have no reason to pitch you on this. Our commercial product is the single best product in the world. People will not realize this for another couple years because they're in the process of learning what it means to interact with non-thin software that's largely been built so that you can tell some person on Wall Street that it exists. And the products we build, they will, people are beginning to understand, but they are actually years ahead of it. And that, if you want to, just leaving me aside, you want to make money in software, you have to understand how good is this product and how good are they at sustaining a culture that can maintain at this product and build new products, and can they get people to actually pay for it? To the margins and other questions, margins flow in software. Margins in software are quite hard. I mean, there are different kinds of margins. There's operative margins, there's margins that throw off great free cash flow, there's contribution margins. But you could reduce it all to, is this product sticky? And is it being reused for similar use cases in a way that's efficient for the customer so that customer and client win? And in my business, why does a customer, we have some of the largest purchases in the world, why do they pay so much? Because it would take them $1 billion to build it, and they pay $10 million. So that's what you want to look for in a software company. What you do not want to look for in a software company, at least you're going to hold this for a long time, is this software person in charge would be very popular with Wall Street hedge funders. Because in fact, what that person is doing is selling sales to Wall Street people, and these companies disappear. They all go away.
So super interesting. One of the points that he said is it would cost a business $1 billion to develop the same product for themselves. So obviously, let's say you take Nike, and Nike is a company that has many factories. It has, many countries that it sells the shoes in, and they do need business intelligence tools to see, where is the shortest time to produce something, the cheapest, which shoes go to which country, what is the best way to ship the products. And obviously they have the money to pay for this. So they have a choice to make. Do we develop our own product and it will cost us $1 billion? And Alex Karp here conveniently doesn't also mention that to develop a product, it takes years, right? So then you're taking a risk like, do we develop this? And by the way, these projects, it's mentioned in another interview, had an 80% failure rate. So if you're Nike, you're like, okay, we can waste 2 years of our company and we risk $1 billion, and there's an 80% chance that we're going to use all of this and then we have to start over. Or we can use Palantir, pay them $10 million, and then basically get value for the money straight away and be ahead of the competition who is maybe idiotically thinking to develop this product themselves. This is the first crazy moat that they have also with competitors, is that it would take 10 years to build a product like Foundry, and the sheer money that it would take to develop a product. Two very huge moats. And obviously, it's going to come in a later part. I will circle back to a point that was mentioned here. Let's go to the next video, which is about the go-to-market strategy of Palantir. Again, a hidden gem of data. Nobody really talks about this.
The go-to-market strategy is we're going to generate massive network effects for the largest customers in the world by creating these consortium models, So when they create a strategic partnership, that's like a business consortium. What they're relying on is the more people within that consortium that use Foundry, the more valuable Foundry gets. And that's how they're going to grow it, But it's questionable whether that's going to work. But I don't question the timing of when they brought it to market, because that was the only time, the exact right time, a product like this could actually be feasible financially.
So super good point. I had to, maybe you're not in this world every day. So a consortium means a group of companies that are doing a similar thing. So let's say that you have different airlines and they all need to be able to communicate with each other because, you have the flight control towers and then, you have the government office that regulates air travel. So these guys can create a consortium and they can agree on, certain standards. They can agree on using a program like Palantir. And this is a very risky, yet if it works, a potentially super good strategy, because what happens is, let's say that all the US flight towers start to use Palantir. So automatically, the US airlines are forced to use Palantir and train their people on this. And then when all of these guys are using it, then maybe the European flight companies who are flying into the US will be forced to also use Palantir, because, they need to be able to communicate with the programs. And then the more people use it, the more valuable it becomes for each of the users. This is what actually network effects mean. Nobody really talks about that. This is a very big bet that Palantir makes to go after this huge customers, and they want to become an industry standard, and they want to make it so that people know that the best companies on the planet and the biggest companies of the planet knows Palantir. And if you want to be like them, you have to use Palantir. So obviously this comes with huge risks. And the next clip is going to show you the best explanation of the risk that comes with investing in Palantir.
So would you say Palantir is more geared towards companies that have a tremendous amount of data and needs from a data perspective versus, say, a large majority of companies? So I'm trying to figure out, as I think about Palantir's long-term customer base, right? So far, based on some of your explanations you've given, is that it's a tool that has a lot of capabilities. It sort of reinvents how traditional engineers would interface with a product like this. But it sounds like the feature sets it has and the capabilities it has are profoundly great. Okay, but is this reserved for, say, your Facebooks and your Googles and your Pfizers, like your really, really large companies that are going to have a lot of data, or is this something that is also being geared towards, say, a humongous majority of the businesses that exist today that have data, but they don't know how to use it? Like any sort of small business, right? You can pick and choose whatever business you're talking about. If these guys want to take advantage of the data, they have to hire some third party dude that's in a different time zone that is not doing what they're asking, right? So how is Palantir viewing this market, or is it just not geared towards that? Because I think if we really think about long-term potential of BI tools or any sort of tools that leverage data, I think that is the market that they have to crack. So I would love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that, we're not talking. What's funny is, there's a book called Palantir Foundry by Use Case. This guy, Kai, wrote it. It's dope if you want to check it out. It's a good way to kind of learn more about the platform. But, sure. In there, the book opens with, a use case of a woodworker who makes, I forget what it was. Maybe it was, Russian nesting dolls or something. It was a small business, though, maybe 15 or 20 people. But explained how they were able to improve their business using Foundry, right? So, But I think the broader point is, BI and data analytics is valuable no matter what business you're in. I mean, Tom probably uses BI and data analytics to understand his YouTube audience. It's you can be a one-person shop and take advantage of data. I don't think the size of the org dictates that. But I think the broader question, the one to unpack in there is how is Palantir seeing this problem? Yeah. And I think it's obvious from the go-to-market strategy, they're not going after the SMB space. It's straight up full-on enterprise. Yeah, that's it right there. Kai's dope. He has a great relationship with the people at Palantir.
Well reviewed, 4.5 stars.
There you go. So I have that book. There's a second.
It's all fake reviews. It's all fake reviews, bro. It's all purchase reviews.
It's all code strap. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
And his dad.
It's funny. But
I heard a lot about this book. I heard the book is legit, actually.
It's legit. And he has another one out too that talks about using it in the intelligence kind of space. But so I think Palantir is absolutely going after enterprise. They're not going to be going after the same customers as Snowflake or Salesforce right now. But I think that speaks to maybe where they're at with the tech. And it's just not ready to scale to 25,000 customers. They're looking at it as we want to get the global 2000. We want to get the enterprises where we can generate massive network effects, and we'll scale our technology and invest in make investments to scale our technology alongside those initiatives as more and more people on board with this system. Now, that's a really risky strategy if that is and I'm speaking for myself. This is an intuitive understanding of where I see it, but that is an incredibly risky fucking strategy. No one I know has ever gone to market that way. Every single product I've been associated with from day zero is infinitely, we have a scaling model built in. You can sign up on the website. Customers are onboarded into a multi-tenant environment automatically. There are no scaling issues. So it's weird that they wouldn't be walking and chewing gum at the same time, going after both markets. I think that points to some inherent issues related to scalability of the product. I don't know that. I'm speaking for myself, but that's my feeling. But I don't know if it matters in the long run if they're right. If they're right about how this product can generate network effects for their customers and their strategy works, they win. If they're wrong, they fucking lose, and they lose big time. And they've lost in other spaces. They lost in the data warehouse space. Why did they lose in the data warehouse space? Because they didn't go to market 7 years before everyone else with a data warehouse product, So that inability to read the market and get good product market fit could be a weakness for them. It's something that I worry about a lot when I see their strategy playing out. But at the same time, I love the product. I can see how it's going to be a huge win for those orgs that are adopting it. I wish my org would have adopted it, but I think that I see a lot of potential upside in what they're doing. It's just, you got to be right.
So there you have it. This was the best explanation online about the risk with Palantir. So they are going after the biggest of the big customers, and they are trying to generate network effects for these customers. And this is what Alex Karp 2 videos before was listening to, or referring to, when he said that Wall Street still doesn't understand our product and it was not made for Wall Street. They're just building a great product because the customers are still learning. Foundry is a fairly new product, right? The customers are also themselves learning what is the network effects and how good it is to use a Foundry over a long period of time. So the full effect of this is not fully known, both to the customers or Wall Street. Palantir's insane moats. What did we learn in this video? So you learned that if you sign up for my Patreon, you get access to a lot of cool stuff. So it's the first link in the description box below. So the next thing that we have learned is Palantir is a data operating system that lets you use all your data in the company for business decisions, and you can build on it with very low coding or no coding apps. So theoretically, again, I'm not a user of the Palantir products, but theoretically, you don't have to hire data scientists to work in your company. It's enough that your C executive suite that are bright and can use this program, they can make applications that can really make the company act on the data and make your company really, really competitive in today's market. Then we have learned that for any company to develop a product like Foundry, it will cost $1 billion. And this is not speaking about the time that they would waste doing this when they can just sign up for Palantir and spend only tens of millions of dollars. Then we have learned that in their go-to-market strategy, they're going after the biggest of the big customers, and they're trying to create massive network effects, and they're trying to become the industry standard. They're trying to become, like the iPhone is and was, and like MacBooks were, that when you don't have money, you cheap out and, you buy an Asus laptop or, a Lenovo laptop, and then you say to yourself, yeah, when it's going better, I'm going to switch to Mac. And all the good companies are on Mac, and all these successful guys are on iPhones. I think this is their logic. They want to be this product that when companies are big enough, they want to go over to. I can totally see that if you're a mom and pop shop, it doesn't make sense to, switch to a product that is tens of millions of dollars per year. And I also don't think that this is what Palantir is after. And this go-to-market strategy is unlike anybody else, any of their competitors are doing. So they're going from the top market. They want to become an industry standard and almost force everyone else to use this product. Whereas you have, companies like Snowflake that are going from, the easiest use cases, and then they're trying to go up on the market. So the question is, who is going to be right in the future? And obviously, if Palantir is going to win, it's going to be a winner takes most of the market. It's going to be like a monopoly. And this is what Peter Thiel, who is a co-founder of the company, this is the type of businesses that he likes to invest into. And obviously, if this doesn't succeed, it's going to be a huge bust. So you have to make your own educated decision. I'm betting on that they're going to succeed big with this. And this is not something that you can show when you talk about Palantir's valuation and, doing your models. This is not something that you can show in these models. And this can really lead to the stock price being in the hundreds of dollars in a few years from now when everybody realizes what Palantir actually is. I actually don't see a lot of people talk about this, and I had to piece this information together from many videos. And if you found it useful, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. You're officially a Palantir nerd if you watched to this part of the video. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.